Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. Here's a headline from the Crypto Basic. Top analyst says the only way for XRP is up. And this article is sharing perspective from chart analyst Crypto Wizard, and he's one of many XRP chart analysts I follow who has incredibly high conviction that XRP is showing ridiculous strength. Strength uncharacteristic of it for most of the time that it's existed. And I mean, of course, obviously it outperformed in 2017 into early 2018, and it had some strength last market cycle, even though it didn't hit a new all-time high. But what we're seeing right now, in many ways, it's actually unprecedented here. So the fact that it's leading the market, like out of the top 100 coins, that fact in and of itself, not particularly crazy, but it's just amazing to see that it's doing that. And although it's been consolidating the last few months, it's safely holding above $2. Like, that has never happened in the over 10-year history of XRP. And the only way is up. Well, I'll tell you this, if history rhymes with itself, hell yeah, the answer is the only way is up. Because if Bitcoin's going to go parabolic, as most analysts expect, for one final leg to the upside this market cycle, then ultimately Bitcoin dominance will plummet, and you will see a ton of money roll into altcoins, including XRP. Typical lemming retail speculators will then chase green candles, including those from XRP, and number go up, my friends, and finally it'll result in price discovery. So what's happening right now? Well, I have some really interesting data to share with you, and it's going to instill confidence in you. It's going to do that. I don't know how it could do anything other than that, and it should make you feel excited, frankly. Like, I see this stuff, and I'm just like, oh my God, I feel so fortunate to be aware of this. Most people have even most people in crypto have no idea that this is the case, what I'm about to share with you. And it's not like they're deep, dark secrets. Like, if you have Google, you can type with your fingers and come up with these results. It's just most people aren't doing that and don't know. So kudos to you, legitimately, for paying attention and figuring this stuff out. Because it's very obvious to me that XRP is going to be outperforming the vast majority of the crypto market this cycle. But the big boys, just know this. The big boys are continuing to purchase XRP. But before going further, I do want to be clear, I do not have a financial background of any kind. I am not offering financial advice. And you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto-related topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun. All right, so the other day, I shared the post that's on your screen. This comes from chart analyst Dom, and he accurately called XRP breaking out this market cycle and hitting a new all-time high, so that's already happened. He does believe that we're going to see it rip to the upside, and he thinks that XRP may peak somewhere around $10 this market cycle. I'm going to read this real quick because I want to make sure that everybody has seen this. This post is from May 10th. But then, after this, I have an updated version of this, which I have not shared on the channel, and he's more explicit about what it means. So first, here's the post from 5 days ago, May 10th. From Dom, and he's talking about XRP here. He simply wrote, $170 million in net market selling over the last 7 days. XRP up 11%. A true order flow anomaly. Takers, market orders, were dumping, but price kept rising. This isn't bullish retail, it's stealth accumulation. Passive buyers absorbed every sell and lifted the floor. Better stated, emotions weren't behind this move so far. Now, let me just ask you, who is it that makes purchases without emotion, as if they were a robot? Beep, boop, beep. Would it be the typical lemming retail speculators? Nay, it is not. Those are the ones who are just oozing emotions. They're FOMOing into green candles and panic selling all the dips. It wasn't them. It was the ultra-rich. It was the institutions. It was the asset managers. It was businesses purchasing XRP from people who were panic selling and just giving up. It's just fascinating. And so look at the latest numbers. Take a look at this. And so this, the latest numbers, this is posted yesterday morning. And here, I'll make this full screen for you. He wrote the following. $210 million of XRP has been net market sold over the past 7 days. Despite this, XRP is up 20%. That is wild, folks. That is freaking wild. And so he writes, When price rises against heavy sell pressure, it signals this isn't retail driven. Market makers or whales are likely absorbing massive sell pressure through limit buy orders. So, my friends, I must ask you, do you think that the smart money out there, I call them the smart money, them splishy splashy whales getting aquatic AF, are they the idiots? Are they the ones making the poor financial decision here? I doubt it. Really doubt it. If these people consistently made piss poor financial decisions, they would quickly cease to be very wealthy. That is what would happen. All these funds, it would all dry up. The institutions, everything, it would just all dry up if that were consistently the case. What's consistently the case is that the average investor doesn't know their left hand from their right hand. They don't know what the hell they're doing investing in crypto. That's the truth. The average person doesn't. And these individuals do. That's why they don't get wrong-footed. They just don't. And so you can see what's happening here. There's so many ways to slice and dice this, and I do it on this channel all the time through various metrics. In this case, I mean, look at what he's citing right here. Is that not exciting? I mean, obviously it is. And there's more, like, hang with me. I got some really interesting data for the rest of this video too, but check this out. And he also wrote, this is a bullish imbalance from an order flow microstructure lens. If this dynamic continues, it typically leads to an explosive upside move once aggressive sellers get exhausted. That's right, folks. Eventually, you run out of lemming retail speculators. They've all capitulated, and then who's left? There's the big boys. And so, especially at that point, as demand ultimately, inevitably, picks up, it just doesn't take much money coming in to get this thing just rocking and rolling. And you know what's so interesting about this? All of these whales and the institutions, and I've been showing you the cash inflows on an institutional level. I've been highlighting them very consistently more consistently than normal for like the last 4 or 5 weeks, because it's been insane. It's been absolutely insane, the amount of money flowing into XRP. Even during the few weeks where Bitcoin had massive outflows, XRP has consistently had wildly large inflows. I'm not aware of that having ever happened in the entire history of XRP's existence. And I've been here over 7 years paying attention on a daily basis. I don't think that's ever happened. Not like this, not to this degree. It is truly buck wild. This is straight. This is what happens when a market becomes leveled. The playing field becomes leveled, and XRP is no longer shackled because of regulatory uncertainty. When the markets are not restrained by the government and people get to choose what they think makes sense, this is what happens to the price of XRP. Money flows in because it just makes sense as an asset. It just does. Very obviously here. And so all of this is happening at a time where we're not seeing an influx of new retail speculators. And I talked about this the other day. Let me show you some new data. I'm going to show you XRP specific data on this again, but I want to share with you this article. It's so timely that Cointelegraph just happened to come up with this article. Oh, looks like they published it about 8 hours ago. It's titled, Google Search Volume for Bitcoin Flat as Bitcoin Nears New Highs. Where are retail investors? So we're going to talk about that and the implications of this. And I think it was literally yesterday I was talking about just this topic, or maybe it was 2 days ago. I think it was yesterday, though. The days blur together. But it's true of Bitcoin also. And this is a good thing. To see these prices where they are without a crazy influx of new buyers, without euphoria. And frankly, a lot of people are still in fear investing in this market. And so to see the Bitcoin over $100,000, as I'm recording this anyway, and XRP close to $2.50 with almost no new humans coming in. And I say that it's all relative. I mean, there are a lot more humans coming in on and doing search terms compared to like a year ago. I'll grant you that. But I'm just saying it's not crazy euphoria. Like, it's not what you see at the peak of a market cycle. So check this out. This piece reads as follows. And I know it's Bitcoin and we're more interested in altcoins, right? Including XRP. But I want to share this because the takeaway is the same for XRP. And I just wanted to note that it's happening to the entire market. This is good. Like, this is good. Everything's being treated roughly the same in this sense, if you're looking at this specifically. Anyway, so Bitcoin retail traders are known for entering the market during periods of euphoria, typically after strong monthly gains or a new all-time high. This time is no different, with Bitcoin approaching $104,000 on May 14th, while general public interest and retail activity continue to lag. Analysts estimate that in 2025, retail investors were the largest net sellers of Bitcoin, while institutions were the main buyers. So I got to pause there. Does that sound familiar? The answer is yes. It's the same with XRP. It's just that in the case of XRP, especially if you're talking about institutional money over the last 6 weeks, XRP, my God, it has had positive weeks when Bitcoin was just tanking. It seems to me that there are a lot of bulls as it comes to XRP, and they don't seem to be waning. Certainly not recently. But look at this. Again, retail investors, they're the largest sellers of Bitcoin, but the smart money, they're the buyers. The big boys are buying because they know euphoria comes next if history is to rhyme with itself, and I believe it will. Anyway, piece continues. But if historical patterns hold, a surge in retail appetite is likely to occur about 1 week after Bitcoin surpasses the $109,350 mark. According to Rivers estimates, individual investors sold a total of 247,000 Bitcoin throughout 2025, equivalent to $23 billion based on the average price during the period. Meanwhile, Michael Saylor's strategy accounted for 77% of the 157,000 Bitcoin acquired by businesses that year. Current search trends for the term Bitcoin match levels last seen in June 2024, when Bitcoin was trading around $66,000 after 3 months of failing to break above $73,000. Pause to think about that for a second. Bitcoin is above $100,000, and it's garnering as much interest from the retail crowd as when it was at $66,000 almost a year ago. The price is way higher, and nobody cares. Now, that doesn't mean there's fundamentally something wrong. No, not at all. As they accurately cited in this article, after the all-time high is hit, that's when the retail crowd gets extra interested. That's when they're going to plow in. That's when you're going to see search terms for Bitcoin and XRP and everything else go through the roof. That's the moment. So do you think it's going to come? Because, again, if history rhymes with itself, the answer is yes. And they also cite here, and this is interesting, this is another thing you can consider. Likewise, the Coinbase app now ranks 15th in the US App Store within the finance category, comparable to its 20th place ranking in June 2024, based on data from the block. If mobile app rankings and Google search trends for Bitcoin can serve as proxies for retail interest, demand last peaked on November 15th, 2024, when the Coinbase app jumped from the 40th to the 5th position in under 2 weeks. At the same time, search activity spiked to its highest level in over 2 years. Right, it sure as hell did, and prices went up, didn't they? That's why, isn't it interesting that recently, after the most recent dip when Bitcoin was in the mid 70,000s and XRP was very briefly as low as like $1.61, somewhere around there, isn't it interesting that as that happened, you didn't see a huge influx of retail with euphoria? We saw fear out there, but prices still rebounded. Okay, because who was buying? The smart money was buying. They're buying the freaking dip. So now you can take a look at this. This is the XRP search term worldwide over the last 12 months. And so it is true that we're at like a new norm right now. There's not crazy euphoria or like crazy interest from retail, although it's way higher, admittedly, compared to a year ago. So you do reach new plateaus from time to time. And that's thanks to the fact that after the election, interest rocketed. So you can see, look at the search terms for XRP. I mean, by the beginning of December, way up. And then again, you saw a spike when the week that XRP hit a new all-time high for the first time in over 7 years. And then the interest kind of waned, went down. But that's not a problem with XRP. And again, the price ultimately did rebound after the local low of around $1.61. But what you're seeing here in terms of search terms, it's just similar for the crypto asset class, including Bitcoin. Like, this is just normal. So again, the fact that prices are where they are and people don't care yet, but you know what triggers them to care. When Bitcoin hits a new all-time high because it does lead the crypto market, yeah, they're going to fly in and they're going to be investing in a metric fuck ton of altcoins too, including XRP. That's why this is exciting. That's why this matters. It's just crazy. I mean, take a look at this. This is a post from on-chain analytics firm Santiment. They wrote, as cryptocurrency continues to expand, here are the daily averages of new wallets created over the past month for the top 4 market caps. And I've been talking about XRP's performance recently in this metric, and I've noted that on any given day, XRP looks to me that you get about 3,000 to 4,000 new accounts. And then if you go back a year ago, you're getting maybe 1,000 per day. It might realistically be a little bit less than that on average, but still we're getting per day close to 4 times as many new accounts on the XRP ledger as we were a year ago without euphoria. And euphoria, when the euphoria comes, that's when you get the crazy parabolic price structures, everything's mooning, so on and so forth. But here, Santiment noted XRP on average created 3,500 new accounts per day. And again, that's over the past month on average 3,500 accounts per day. That's exactly in line with what I told you it looked like just from when I was eyeballing it. I was using the XRP scan website. I was like, yep, that looks like. And so when I saw this, I was like, yep, that's pretty much it. So it's incredible to see that. But again, that's without the masses of idiot retail speculators. And the idiots are coming back. They're useful idiots. They come in and their exit liquidity, like that, it is. I don't care if that sounds harsh. Like, I'm just observing. Like, I didn't decide that they have to act this way. I'm observing that they do over and over and over again from one cycle to the next, and I'm behaving accordingly, right? And that's what makes logical sense. Why wouldn't I do that? So they're going to come in, and like lemmings do, falling one after another off a cliff to their own demise. That's what's going to happen here. They should have been paying attention when the prices were lower, but they weren't. They're going to be attracted to the shiny, right? To the shiny light, the green candles. But that's okay. Like, it happens to all of us. Like, I came in close to the peak of the 2017 market cycle, but then a certain percentage of us, like myself, like, we stick around actually. So even if most leave, the tourists, they leave after the excitement of the cycle ends. Some of us stick around though and become permanent residents. Like I did. I became a permanent resident, even though I came in at a wacky time in 2017. And so some of these people that come in at, an inopportune time, they'll learn. That happened to me. So all that to say, it's just key takeaway. It's an exciting time to be an XRP. It couldn't be more obvious. Just look at everything that's happening. As soon as the market finishes heating back up and Bitcoin finally breaks that new all-time high, it will get completely bananas. That is the best part, and it's going to be relatively short-lived. It'll be over in a span of 1, 2, 3 months, somewhere around there, the whole alt season, if history is to rhyme with itself. So once it gets going, like, we will be very close to the end, and I will be highlighting top indicators on this channel as it's happening, and people will be screaming at me, no, because when you get to that level, everybody feels like it's just going to keep doing that forever. So people will be screaming, stupid moon, blah, 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 blah. But I'll be right. We're going to be in that realm because history keeps rhyming with itself, and those people are just going to screw themselves by thinking that the market will never stop going up. It happens every single cycle. But, Dunning-Kruger effect, my friend. That's what it is. It's great to be an XRP. This is the best time there has ever been to be an XRP holder. I mean that. I know you wish that you could have held it at half a penny, but what I mean by that is, if you look at the risk-reward opportunity, yeah, even if you had known about it, maybe you would have bought some at half a penny, but the risk was so great and there was so little track record, most people wouldn't have felt comfortable putting very serious money into it. But now it's like XRP is an obvious winner. And so, yeah, we're buying at a much higher price than half a penny. Got it. But there's still little money in it compared to what there will be in the future if we continue to be correct and XRP continues to be adopted. So to me, it's the sweet spot. It always has been. That's why there's never been a better time to be an XRP holder. I still believe it's undervalued, frankly. I do. I'll wrap up here, but you guys tell me what you think. If you're not as excited as me, just tell me why the hell not. Just explain it to me. I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.